This is Sneaker Gears. My name is Levi, and welcome to another Performance Gears episode where we are looking at the top 5 most comfortable sneakers of 2019. Let's get right into it. Alright, if you've been following the channel, please like and subscribe to the video. We've had 2 videos in the last few years going over the most comfortable sneakers of 2017, 2018, so now we have 2019, and I wanted to wait till the end of the year in case we have any shoes coming out that would dethrone or take over. So I do have my top 5, but I also have some auxiliary ones I'm going to be throwing in, so make sure you guys are paying attention. These are not in a particular order, even though maybe I should. Alright, I thought about it. Not going to be in order, but I am going to title it so you guys have a better idea of what kind of max cushion setup you're getting. So we'll start with number 5, and again, this doesn't mean it's the worst, but this is going to be the most balanced max cushion setup. Meaning, if you're buying this and you prefer court feel, but you want to get something with a little bit more cushion, this is something that's going to be right up your alley, where it just does a great job of blending something that's bouncy and definitely a max cushion setup, but still something where you feel close to the court and you still feel quick. That is the KD12. You guys have heard me talk about this shoe plenty of times. This thing is so amazing. I would have gotten more than one pair, but fitting wise, it doesn't quite fit me just right. I'm a 13, and this is a shoe that it did mold to my foot. It does fit me well, but it's after I'm done playing, I'm definitely ready to take it off. It is tight. It is not a wide foot friendly shoe by any means. So depending where your foot is wide, whether it's here in the toe box, kind of take a look here, or more in the midfoot like where I am, it's going to play a role. I have a wider midfoot, so I'm able to get it to work for me a little bit better. If you have a wide toe box, it may just not work. Now, this is using Nike's Zoom Strobel setup, which for all intents and purposes, I am calling a full-length Zoom Turbo setup, simply because it puts heat welded molds where it can bend with you. It's right below your foot, and it feels very similar to what we got in the Kyrie 5, now the Kyrie 6, except you're getting full length, as well as you're getting a double stack. Let's see, I don't know if you can see the outline here. Hex zoom underneath, so it's a double stacked heel zoom with that full length zoom. Feels incredible. Now, just to give you guys an idea, we don't know what we're getting for the KD 13. Generally, the KD line outside of the KD 10 and 11 has switched up their cushioning very regularly. Well, as we have just confirmed that the new Zoom Universe that just released, which is the laceless version of a basketball shoe that looks really cool, looks like the traction is beast, that is also a Zoom Strobel setup. So if you're looking for this kind of cushioning where you want a max cushion setup, but maybe you prefer something with more court feel, but you just want something that's going to alleviate a little bit more stress in your knees or your back, or just having a second option for when you're playing a lot, this is not going to beat your body up as much. Definitely check the Zoom Strobel or full-length Zoom Turbo setup from Nike. The KD12 you can get on really good values right now, as well as currently the new Zoom Universe. Alright, so the most budget-friendly option, and this is going to be technically the second most budget-friendly. The first one I'll get to really quick here is going to be your Nike Zoom Rise. This is something that's going to give you a massive 4-foot zoom. You definitely feel it. It's bouncy, feels incredible, has a heel foam setup that just feels good. I don't know what it is. Nike hasn't really said anything. It feels just like a really nice, soft find-on, and it does take a little bit to break in. It is a rather stiff shoe, but notice it does have a little bit of flex there. This is definitely a max support shoe. You can see kind of this whole heel cup really holding you in. The materials in the forefoot are just, again, on the cheaper side. This is $140. Most places do have it discounted down to $110, and Nike has had that with their 25% off on Black Friday if you're able to catch that. This is definitely a more supportive, more stable, and overall better containment version of what we would get on the LeBron 16, although the LeBron 16 does have an edge in a few areas, and you'll see that's coming up next. Now, I said this is the most budget-friendly option, but I do want to talk about, and this is something hopefully I'll be getting in, the Jumpman 2020. I did have the opportunity to try both of these on in store, and it was shocking how close they feel, where you have a massive 4-foot zoom setup and just a heel foam setup. and that forefoot zoom on both is bouncy. It felt great. Now the Jumpman 2020 doesn't have nearly the support and containment this does. It felt much lighter, it felt much more flexible, but you didn't have any of that eclipse or that zoom flight plate, the flight plate that Jordan Brand's known for. So it felt a little bit better for transition in this, and this is just walking around where this does feel a little bit stiff. The Jumpman 2020 is $110. Again, you can get it at 25% off, and some of the sale that's been going on, and it's something I don't think it's going to be selling out soon, but that is a shoe that was shocking that maybe would take the best budget max cushion setup. This has maybe a little bit more cushion. The Jumpman 2020 has a little bit softer foam, it's a little bit lighter, so they're just kind of two sides of the same coin. If you're looking for a max cushion setup, if you need more support, go with the Zoom Rise. A little bit less support, check out that Jumpman 2020. Alright, so one of your most balanced setups, and I know I said there was a great balance between court feel and max cushion was the KD12. But when I say balance, I mean something that is the LeBron 16, where you have a legitimate max cushion setup all the way through, Zoom Max, segmented, flexible, but somehow they have calibrated the foam using the same tooling for the last 2 years with the 15 and the 16, where you can still feel quick. There's a lot of guards who play in it. It doesn't slow you down. It's just firm enough where it's definitely not a mushy setup by any means, but you feel the bounce when you're running. You feel it absorbs all the impact when you land. There's no shock. This is just one of the best max cushion, if not the best max cushion setup ever, and it's still here today. Now, this was on the docket last year, and it's still on this year simply because LeBron 17 is out, and it is nowhere near any of these 5 that I'm talking to you today. For those who enjoy the LeBron 17, I take it with a grain of salt because you guys spent $200. Generally, you're either a LeBron fan or you've been a fan of the line, and you probably don't have another 4 or 5 pairs of shoes you're comparing it to. That's not always the case. I did talk to a gentleman in the comments below in my last video who had the KD12 and LeBron 17, and he went back and forth between the two. Now, he liked the LeBron 17 because he felt it had a little bit more of a rocker motion, which I can understand that, where the air unit kind of drops off here in the middle, and he liked the KD12 because it felt closer to the court. Both valid reasons. I do have a response for him with another pair of shoes here. One, I would say either the Jumpman 2020 or that Zoom Rise are both better than when you got in LeBron 17. And by far, this is going to be better than LeBron 17. Now, the traction on all the LeBron 16s were amazing. The LeBron 17, I've been hearing reports where the clear sole options on both the first colorway, that kind of future flight, whatever it was, as well as the red carpet that are kind of more translucent, have been performing better than the solid traction. So something to keep in mind. I might get another pair of LeBron 17s because I do want to give it a fair shot. But as of now, you can get these on sale. I don't really like to bring the same shoe out year to year, but technically the low did come out a little bit later, so maybe this still counts. All right, so the most cushy setup. So you just want something soft, something plush. Let's say you had a hard leg day. You just want something where you can play on court, but you're not moving at your fastest, and or you're doing some plyo. You just want something to absorb as much impact as possible. Your TMAC Millenium. Now, I do apologize, guys. The new version was just released. I don't know if it's available stateside just yet, but the TMAC Millenium 2 is out, so technically that would be your 2019 version. I still have last year's. It's using the exact same tooling, which is your boost setup and your outsole. And unfortunately, if you're a fan of the 3 stripes, right here, guys, this is the last remaining shoe with boost. They have converted everything over to light strike, with the exception of using bounce in a few of their shoes. So if you like boost, if you've been a fan of boost, hashtag boost is life, this is your only option, and it's a really darn good one. Now, for their TMAC Millenium 2, hopefully they've improved containment. Hopefully they've made it a little bit lighter. This is definitely not a shoe that you're playing fast in by any means, but I've seen Zach LaVine playing in it, and he still plays plenty quick. Traction is beast. Cushion is just phenomenal. Again, if you're looking for just a super soft, cushy setup. One little tidbit I want to throw in there, a shoe that's hard to get, not available in the States, and that's why I'm not even giving it segment, is going to be your Jordan Elevate Supreme. That is a shoe that is super bouncy, super lightweight, containment is terrible, but if you can find it, that is an awesome cushion shoe that is placed similar to what you got on the TMAC Millenium 2, where you have just a really nice cushion setup that you're not playing too quick on. Now overall, the Millenium is a better shoe, which is why I actually ranked it and put it on this list. But if you can find the Elevate Supreme on sale, on discount, don't be afraid. Go ahead and grab that. I do have a full review on it. Again, containment is terrible, but again, if you're looking for a max cushion setup and you're not playing all out, it's still a great shoe. All right, so number one, and again, we weren't listing, you know, number one, but we're gonna say the shoe with the most forward propulsion ever, very similar to some of the running shoes with those carbon fiber plates, is your Jordan 34. This thing has just been phenomenal. The cushion on this, you feel immediately where that Zoom Air is right below your foot, so very similar to what that Zoom Strobel setup is on the KD12. So you still feel close to the court, but you still have just a tremendous amount of bounce and cushion. What separates this from the rest of the Jordan lineup, if you work your way down to the Why Not 2, to the Jumpman 2020, and then down to the CP3, is this is the only version with a heel zoom setup, and you can actually feel it this year. I never really felt it last year on the Jordan 33, so if you land on your heel, it still feels great. But what makes this so special and better than almost any other max cushion setup is that, let's see, take a look in here. Can you guys see me? No, it's too dark there. That Eclipse plate, this thing is crazy where it really pushes you forward. You can see me trying to bend it here, and it feels a little bit stiff. When you're walking in it, you don't really feel a stiff shoe. You feel a shoe that is trying to make you run. If you're just trying to wear this casually, which I'm sure you can if you think it looks cool, great. But you have a shoe that you have to at least start jogging. It does not want to walk. Now, each colorway has been a different material, so I do want to get one of each colorway and try the materials. I honestly can't afford that yet, guys. I'm still getting my own shoes for these reviews. Nothing is being sent to us, so we're not at that level just yet. But I can say this material, which has been the only one released in this Blue Void colorway, has been what looks to be some of the most supportive. I did try on the white and black or the red colorway and found that material to be a little bit more loose, which again, not playing in it, that's just trying it on, as well as they just released the amber colorway, which kind of has a synthetic kind of suede, and again, all different materials. They might perform differently. I don't know what the weight is going to be on those, but I can tell you the cushion, it's bouncy, it moves you, it plays quick. Now, some people have said, can they get the 34 if they're looking for court feel? No. So this is a bouncy shoe. You feel the cushion right off the foot, right on the bat. Now, the quality control has been an issue just because some people have reported getting various size differences where they got one colorway in a 13, or I think it was a 10, they got another colorway in a 9, and they matched up perfectly. Some people have gotten it where they couldn't really feel the zoom. They returned and got another pair, and all of a sudden it felt great. So quality control has, and I guess still is an issue, been for Jordan brand. So if you get a pair that doesn't feel as bouncy or doesn't quite fit you perfectly, don't be afraid to return it. Don't be afraid to exchange it for a different colorway, for a different pair, because ultimately these should feel amazing. The Jordan 34, this thing, because it pushes you forward, you can still play very quickly. So this doesn't have court feel, it just accomplishes the same goal with a different tactic. So as opposed to feeling the ground and having an immediate push off where there's no hesitation, this is literally pushing you forward, compensating for that lack of court feel because it is legitimately so bouncy. But this is something that I think almost anybody can enjoy. Keep in mind, because of how it's built, and you kind of see the heel cup come around here, which it does an amazing job of balancing the supportive nature, which you do have to learn to trust the shoe. It is supportive, it doesn't feel like it. That heel cup does take a little time to break in, so if you first get the shoe, give it 4 or 5 hours. Also mind what socks you're wearing. If you're used to wearing, say, a thin running socks or just like an ankle cut, you might have to wear thicker basketball specific socks and or more of a crew cut to compensate if you're having some irritation, depending on your ankle bone or if you have any ankle injuries. That's something that might be an irritation, so keep that in mind. I did have a full review on that, so you can check out, but this is magical. All right, so that wraps up my top 5, but I did want to give 2 special shout outs. One, another budget shoe you may want to check out is going to be, again, with the KD line. The KD Tray 5 7 used a full-length Renew foam setup, which essentially is kind of a budget version of React, but honestly, again, tried it on in store, walked around in it, and based on the people I've talked to that own it, it's a comfortable shoe. Retails $100, but I know you can get those on sale. I was able to get a pair for $60, and I still didn't get it. And if you're wondering why I didn't get it, because I already have a lot of shoes. I don't need a budget cushion shoe. And honestly, it felt very similar to your Kobe FF that's $200. Now the Kobe FF is better in various ways, but to give you guys an idea, if you can get a shoe for half the price that is kind of ticking a lot of those boxes, it's a really good shoe. I already own the Kobe FF, so that's something I wasn't going to be reviewing. If you guys want me to, again, give me a shout out, support us on the Patreon page, and we can get more shoes and try those on. But that's something to check it out. I can definitely give that kind of a vote of confidence. The second shoe I really do want to try, and I'm afraid I couldn't have it on this list, I am looking to get it in my size, is going to be Peak with their new Tai Chi foam. That was first launched on the basketball shoe for the TP7. I actually DM'd Nightwing directly, and he pretty much told me he was uncomfortable wearing it because it just didn't have enough support. And if it's not enough support for him, and I outweigh him by probably 100 pounds, I'm not messing with it. He's the godfather. If he says something, it makes a difference. Now, hopefully with my channel, I do more comparisons. I'm definitely a bigger guy, so it'll give you a different perspective. But the new Underground version from Lou Williams uses that same foam. Should be really comfortable. I'm really looking to try that out. Who knows where that would have ranked on this list, so I do want to give it a shout out. Having not worn it, not tried it, and I can't really talk to it just because I've heard things. I can't really list it, but just letting you guys know about it. I think that shoe retails for $110. I have seen it for like $130. I would have to get a size 12, and for the places I've been looking, I've only seen size 11. So I am on the lookout for that one, and that's something to keep in mind if you want something just from a separate brand. Now, talking about other brands, if you're wondering why Under Armour's not on this list, they don't make a max cushion setup, as well as some other shoe manufacturers such as Q4. Just shout out to the other brands out there. Crossover culture. A lot of these brands start off with their own foam setups that may be unique to them, but they are going to be more of a balanced court feel based option. To get a max cushion setup is difficult, and I say that with Adidas, a big player, only having one in their lineup, Under Armour having nothing in their lineup, so it is something that is unique. So I hate how a lot of these shoes are Nike and Jordan, but unfortunately, if you're looking for a max cushion setup and you want to alleviate some stress in your knees, your back, if you've had injuries, having a max cushion setup makes a big difference. That's one of the big reasons we came out with our Velocity Cushion insoles. If you guys have not tried these, you can add this essentially to any shoe. We do have our version 2, which is our Velocity Raptor, and they are about 2 millimeters thinner. They do form to your foot, so it does provide a decent amount of support, and this is something you can add to almost any shoe, and you're gonna make it feel honestly like a KD 12. You're gonna make it feel close to what you're getting, that bounciness from your Jordan 34. So even if you don't or not looking for a max cushion setup, or you already have a pair of shoes that you enjoy, that fits you great, throw Velocity insoles in there, and that's going to make a big difference. As always, if you like this video, please give it a thumbs up. I'd love to hear your comments below. What shoes you guys think are super comfortable? If I missed anything, I apologize. But for 2019, those are your top 5 max cushion setups. As always, really appreciate you guys. This is Levi's Sneaker Gears, and I'll come at you later.